Hi, my name is Jen, and today I wanted to share the first 2 rules that I have out of my 12 rules to live a good life. So my first rule is the golden rule, and it states that you should treat others the way that you want to be treated. And a number of different religions have this rule. I learned about it from my religious background growing up, and I think that this is just such a great place to start when figuring out how to live a good life. I think it helps to address how you interact with others and also a little bit on how you interact with yourself. So when I think about this rule and applying this rule, I think about the needs of a person. That's a very easy and kind of quick place to start. So treat others the way you want to be treated. I want my needs to be met. I want my basic needs to be met. So if somebody doesn't have food, that's a very easy place to get started. If I were in that situation, I would want somebody to give me food or help me get food. So that's something that I can practically do to fulfill this rule. I think that it also goes a little bit further to also include the wants. You maybe wouldn't always want to apply that, but I think it is important to consider that and be open to that, because especially if somebody is in need, they likely don't get a whole lot of treats or special things, and so it can be really nice to just get something that's either a treat or just something special. So maybe that's like a drink, or maybe it's a certain type of food or dessert or something. And I think that also pushes you then to really get to know the person. So it's not just a quick and easy, here, I'll just buy you some groceries and that's it. I don't have to get to know you at all. I can just do this and pass it off. I think if you're looking at the wants, you really have to get to know the person. And I think that's just an added bonus to elevate kind of the rule from just meeting the very basic kind of minimum things to really impacting someone in a powerful way. And I have an example kind of from my life that kind of speaks to this. So when I was growing up, we didn't always have a whole lot of money for even to cover bills or to get groceries. I am very, very thankful. We did have a lot of people who would help us out, and we would get some extra food at like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I am very grateful for that. But there was something that did happen with a lot of the food. We noticed, or I noticed at least, that there were some things that like came in these donation sets that we just couldn't really use. And so for some people, I'm sure it was great and it was wonderful, but for us, we just didn't have the time, the recipes, or the taste for some of the food. And one of those examples is mushroom soup. I know it can be used in a lot of great recipes, and I know a lot of people like it, so I can see why people would think about that and include that, but at the same time, it wasn't something that was helpful or practical for us. We didn't really like mushroom soup on its own, and we also didn't have any recipes for mushroom soup, and so that if we were to use it, it would have created a lot of extra work for us, and we already were really kind of stressed out and had other things going on. So that was not something that was really helpful and practical for us. I think we eventually were able to redonate that because we just couldn't use it. And so I think it really helps if you are going to make some type of donation or something like that, to really try and put the effort in to see what the needs are and what the wants are as well. So if somebody had given us, some popcorn or, a thing of ice cream, that just would have been a really, really special treat. And that just would have been really nice, and we could use that. If they just gave us all ice cream, that would not be good. We do need to have other food and nutrients and stuff for sure. but it definitely is really nice when someone takes a little extra effort to give you a treat as well as meet your needs. So that's something that I try and think about when I think of this rule and when I try to apply it. So one other thing, I do really try to make sure that I'm thinking about others in a positive way. That's kind of assumed in this rule, but I would add that in as well. If you don't treat yourself well, I think you should apply this rule as treat others the way you want to be treated, in a positive way. So that is the first rule. So the second rule that I have is to be honest. And in my mind, this has two parts. The first is to be honest with yourself. And to me, that means that you should try to grow in self-awareness. You should learn kind of the good, the neutral, the bad, the ugly about yourself. And you should learn to listen to your thoughts and your feelings. And I think there's a lot of times in life when we have certain thoughts and feelings about a situation, a circumstance, a person, whatever it is, and we ignore it. And then, bad things can happen. We waste time, we waste money. It adds stress or pain to our lives. And so I think this can really help if we learn to check in with ourselves and really be honest about what we're thinking or feeling about something. The next area that I think this applies is a little bit more of the obvious one, and that is being honest with others. And I think that this means just sharing thoughts and feelings and observations with others. When I think of this rule, it's a little bit harder for me, or this part of the rule, it's a little bit harder for me because I am a people person and I hate conflict. And so it's very difficult for me to share some of my thoughts and feelings and observations with others because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And for a while, I also wasn't even sure that I had anything worthwhile to say. And so as I've thought about this rule a bit more, I've learned that I actually do have a unique perspective and I have valuable insights. And so that's worth thinking about sharing, at least. I think that there is a time and a place for everything. So I'm not encouraging you to just share everything all the time. But I think it is worth an effort to consider sharing things with others and being more open and honest with them. One other thing, I do consider this rule, be honest, in light of the first rule, which is the golden rule. I created the list the way that I did because I didn't want to just be doing things just for the sake of doing them. I think that overall, my goal is to live a good life, and part of that is really being the best person that I can be and helping others to be the best that they can be. And if I'm hurting them and hindering their growth and development, then I don't think I'm living a good life. I don't think that I'm being the best I can be, and I'm certainly not helping them. So I really like to consider all of the other rules in light of the first rule, and be honest definitely fits in with that. There is a time and a place for everything. It's not always the most important thing to be painfully honest in every situation, but I think there are times when it is really appropriate and when it can really help somebody. And I know that it can really help you as an individual if you're honest with yourself and stuff as well. So I really think that it's worth the effort, but you should also consider the other person's needs and wants and how they would respond to it as well. I think the end goal should be that the honesty helps others and isn't just honesty for honesty's sake. So that is the second rule, and I'll have rules 3 and 4 in an upcoming video. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Bye.